Just talk right into the warm-up as we always Here we go. It's episode 147.
Woo! The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Need a show about outdoor living? This is where it's at with your hosts, Shane Chapman and Way Laurent. Thank you for tuning in. Now let the show begin. Yeah. The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome to the Wade and Bryce show without Wade and with Shane instead. Yes. Jeez,
You
right there.
really hammered that one.
Welcome to
in
the
there.
Bryce and Shane show. First comment we have is a hot dog is not a sandwich. Somebody's trying to bring back our debate from a little while ago about hot dogs being sandwiches or not.
I think we convinced ourselves that like hot dogs were a sandwich or weren't.
You
a
might have
sandwich.
convinced yourself. You did not convince me.
Hot dogs aren't a sandwich.
They're not sandwiches.
but they are tacos.
Shit. No, they're not. It's more fun to call them tacos than a sandwich anyway, but regardless. You know what, Bryce? Today, let's try something a little bit different. Let's just, where's this thing here?
It's the
You gotta
purple
show me.
one.
This one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Let's do it. There it is. We're going to get right to it with a moment of uselessness today. Bryce, what you got?
What do I got? I got 3 of the most boring places that are actually cool bars.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm eagerly anticipating your answers because I don't really know what the hell you mean.
Right. Okay.
Boring places that are bars?
Okay. Yes.
All
So
right,
there's a place in New York called Criff's Dogs. It's a hot dog restaurant, very small, probably about the size of this room. Very small.
There used to be a hot dog restaurant in Regina, remember?
Yes.
I never went.
Neither did I.
But
I
it was
wish
like
I
you
would've.
walk up and get your loaded dog of all sorts of things. Sounds good.
So in New York, there's this place
It's called the Taco Shack.
It's called the Taco Shack. It's called Criff's Dogs,
Okay.
and it's just a regular run-of-the-mill hot dog shop
Right.
with a nice old telephone booth in the back.
Okay.
So you go to the telephone booth,
What happens in there?
and then you dial the number for your reservation, and someone picks up the phone, and the door opens into a secret bar. And the bar's
The
called...
bar's like in the back of the hot dog
yeah,
shop?
and you can't see it. It's called Please Don't Tell.
Interesting. And so it's not much of a secret. You know about it.
I do know about it.
It's on the internet, obviously.
Yes, it is on the internet, and the only way to get a reservation is to call between 10 and it's like 2 o'clock, and the reservations fill up every day in like 20 minutes.
Very cryptic. So, okay.
So these are like
Interesting.
boring, run-of-the-mill places with something else behind it.
Right.
Also in New York, there's a place called Sunshine Laundromat,
Okay.
and it's
Sounds boring.
a laundromat.
Okay.
As you walk in, there's one pinball machine near the front door.
Okay.
The further back you get,
This feels like a video game like Resident
that's
Evil.
exactly
or
what it
something.
is. You get to the back and you notice that the back wall of just laundry machines is actually just a fake wall. And you go around it, and it is the world's largest collection of rare pinball machines.
Oh, really?
And you can go play them and have a drink.
We should do, and where is that one?
That's in New York.
As well.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a
If
couple
this-
in Austin, but I'm
If
not going
this
to talk
next one's
about
in New
them.
York too, we're going.
This next one's London, England.
Never mind. We'll stay here.
It's called Ladies and Gents.
Okay.
It's in a bathroom.
All right. So it's going to be changing its name pretty soon to like non-gender specific
Yeah, exactly.
washrooms.
Anybody can walk into this bathroom,
Yeah.
but as you walk in, you go through one stall and you're into a like old Victorian style bar that makes their own gin and all their own cocktails,
Sweet.
right?
Yeah.
16th century copper still in there. They make all their own. I know it wasn't much.
Sounds fun.
That's what we should do though.
It sounds like it'd be tough to do like a tour of all these places. They seem to be all over the world.
We should open a bar here
like a
in a
secret
lumber
bar.
yard.
Yeah. Yeah. Right back this way behind this Regal display. Back there, right? Get rid of the ping pong table, open the bar.
Oh, ping pong bar.
Yes, sir. So today's topic is
What is
we're
today's
talking
topic?
about 5 things. 5 of the best places to spend money that ain't fancy. Yeah, that's right. We're going to talk about some places to spend some money that are great places to spend money that you might not think about wanting to spend your money because it ain't pretty.
This feels like a really fast episode, by the way.
Yeah, there's 5 things we'll get out of. We'll be out of here before 9-minute mark. So, what we want to talk about today, though, is like people come in when they're shopping. It's like anything. They want to shop on the pretty stuff, right? They want to get the prettier deck board or the nicer deck board or the prettier railing or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all fancy stuff that you get to actually enjoy and you can see your money spent, right? But there's actually a lot of places on a deck that you can spend money that's actually probably a wiser place to spend money.
Right.
Maybe we should have called this the 5 wisest
places to spend your money.
If you want a smart deck, spend your money here.
Right. So get like an Apple deck. It's probably got AI built into it. Siri.
Sure, yeah. That'd be good. You know what? If you had an Apple deck board, there's already a market waiting. They might not know they're waiting, but if you call it Apple anything, new Apple iDeck.
Oh yeah, I really like that.
Best kind, actually. So anyways, these are 5 places that we think are really good places to spend money where you don't have to necessarily do it. Most people don't, but it's a good place to spend it. And but you don't see it. When it's all said and done, You've spent the money and you're like, oh, that costs an extra couple $1,000s, but I don't get to see the benefit of it necessarily. So number 1 we're going to talk about is the upgrade from wood to steel framing.
That's a big one.
It is a big one. These are all big ones, Bryce. That's why we're doing a whole episode of the podcast on it, and we've chosen 5.
It's like reinforcing your basement.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it could be...
If you got cracks in your basement, you have to fix your basement walls.
Yes.
No one's going to see it.
This is... Yeah.
They're never going to know.
This is... Why are we even trying to force this analogy? But let's say that we are. This is like this is the equivalent of like... Are you going to do a wood framed basement?
Oh, yeah.
Like old school wood framed basement? Or are you going to do like an ICF foundation? It's a big upgrade on the foundation, the structure of the project that you're not necessarily going to notice on top. Well, in this case, you might. But going from wood to steel framing, you're going to spend a bit more money, probably a couple $1,000s on the average deck. And what you're getting is the stuff that you don't necessarily see. The fact that that's going to last a lot longer than the wood deck. Your wood deck might get 15, 20 years, maybe, if you're lucky, out of your framing versus steel that's like, I mean, it's warranted for 25 years.
Right.
There's no reason to believe it's going to not, like...
If any company's willing to warranty for 25 years, it's probably going to last longer.
It's probably because it actually lasts 75.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not going anywhere. Now, the one caveat we'll say is that from our chats with them in the past, like, it'll have a shorter lifespan in sea salt, like sea spray areas up against coast, shorter than it would if it was in the interior where most people are. But the upgrade is well worth it because you spend a bit of extra money. You're getting that 25-year warranty. So now you're guaranteeing that the framing is going to last as long as the stuff you're putting on top, which is one of the biggest things. It looks good. It's powder coated black. It's not going to rot. It's not going to warp. It's not going to twist. It's not going to crack. So your overall finish on the rest of the deck, even though you don't see this stuff, is that you have a higher quality finish on top. It's nice and flat. It's going to stay nice and flat. It's just going to be kind of in its perfect original condition forever. It's not going to move around and be affected by the elements like wood would be.
Well, that's one thing I've never understood since I started working here is the longevity of the deck board versus the longevity of the framing, the thing that holds it up.
Right. Yeah. So it's like I said, it's not a fancy place to spend the money, but it's a really smart place to spend the money.
It is a smart place to spend the money.
So I don't know. I think it's worth considering. And if you're sitting there looking at, kind of let's say an entry-level composite deck board from Fibron per se.
Okay.
And you're considering that against a higher premium board from Decorator's Voyage per se. And you're within your budget, you could do the Fibron Good Life board on steel framing, or you could do the Voyage board on wood framing.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be encouraged to tell you, like, go with a little bit less price point deck board and upgrade on the framing.
Yeah.
Because you're going to end up with a longer lasting deck. And eventually the looks, and you can get some nice good looking boards in the Good Life line anyway. So it's not like you're giving that up a whole bunch.
No.
So I think you spend the money there and even though it's maybe not prettier day one, like you're going to get used to your deck in a few days anyway, after you're looking at it. So
do you think that it's a good, future sales point for a house too? Cause I'm trying to think like someone that's young, that's moving into a house is going to be like, why would I put a steel frame on my deck that I'm only going to be here for 5 years?
Yeah. I mean, it's for sure. I think it's probably more enticing for somebody who knows they're going to be in their house to experience the benefit of it for a longer period of time. That said, it's a nice selling feature too. I don't know if you're going to sell your deck within 3 or 4 years, if you're going to get all the money back at a steel framing that if you're just trying to quick flip, this isn't the answer, I don't think.
Right.
Don't quick flip it and try to think you're going to make money and it's going to be a big selling point to the purchaser. Probably not. But I mean, think about 15, 20 years down the road, though, if you think you're going to move then. Well, your deck built on a wood frame is going to probably look a little bit gnarly after 15, 20 years, where if the steel frame, it's still going to look great after 15 or 20 years. It's going to look brand new still.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that benefit long term. Number 2 is the upgrade to helical screw piles. We're talking about foundation again.
Yeah, foundation.
So now this is not, I'm not saying use these over concrete piles. If you do an appropriate or a proper concrete pile, that's a fine solution too. But in our market, at least, a lot of decks are built not on permanent in-ground piles.
And permanent in-ground piles here are very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking $300 to $400 a pile versus what people often do here, especially with lower decks, is that they just slap them on grade. They put a sidewalk block down on the ground, put some sort of adjustable footing on it, and like that's $20.
Yeah, $20, man.
That's why they do it, right? People like to save the money there because it's not sexy, it's not fancy. It's like, well, why would I spend all this money there when I could get a nicer deck board? And like, this is the norm here. That's the thing. It's not normal here to see a deck built on just blocks.
Right.
If the deck's under 6 feet, as soon as it's over 6 feet, the game changes a little bit.
You have to have piles.
The problem with this, though, is that at least in Regina and area and anywhere that has like expansive clay soils, it's probably the worst solution to put your deck on is just like blocks on top of the ground.
Yeah, it's going to move.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Not only with temperature, so like it freezes here, obviously, very deep.
Does it?
And frost heave can be a couple inches, 3 inches.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
So frost can heave your deck quite a bit. And not only that, but the soil here is very expansive when it gets wet and dry. And for the most part, we're a dry climate here, but sometimes you get into a wet snap like we just had there a couple of weeks ago where it rained quite a bit over the last, over 2 weeks.
The ground couldn't even soak it up fast enough.
And that clay soil, when it gets wet, expands. And so even when it's not frozen, the ground can be doing funky things. So you put these little adjustable feet on there. The problem is nobody ever actually goes out and adjusts them when they need to. So your deck just ends up out of level.
Right. Like my deck. It's like shoes. I know this is a weird analogy.
Okay. See it through. I want to hear this analogy.
Okay. So like helical piles are like shoes. Like you use your feet every day. It's what your whole deck sits on is going to be these 4 little or 6 or whatever it is, little feet.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't get good shoes, you're going to have back problems.
Yeah, 100%. Great analogy. Haney Construction says, if you intend to flip your house, don't hire anyone who regularly listens to or contributes to this podcast. We all build for longevity and not just lipstick on a pig effect.
Whoa. What's lipstick on a pig look like?
Well, I think he's saying that like
still buy
people that are spending their days learning and researching and listening to deck podcasts, like those people are invested in their trade. They care, and they're going to build to the best quality. They're not going to skip on things or skimp on things that you shouldn't.
It's true.
Right.
Well, so. and with the first thing about, I almost see steel framing as a pretty good, like extra like sales bonus for your house, right? Like if my deck was built on steel framing now and I knew what it was, I'd be like, well, that's a pretty good, I'm never going to have to replace the framing on this deck most likely.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yep.
Right. Until the day I die.
Right.
Or leave this house.
Whichever comes first. Number 3. Now, if you're not going to do steel framing, I think this is one of the best ways to protect your frame is using a joist tape of some sort. G-tape is our preferred joist tape. Heads and above everything else that I've ever used, and we really think it's a great product. So what that's going to do is you take your wood framing and you put a protective adhesive tape membrane. Look at that shirt! We just got those in the mail yesterday. G-tape. I put that shit on everything. Flip her over. Deck Dogs shout out. Decker Certified Elite. These guys, a couple shirts showed up in the mail yesterday, I think it was. And that's great timing, actually. I didn't even think of grabbing that. So thanks to Deck Dogs for sending us those shirts, and very topical for today's podcast.
G-tape.
So G-tape, this is cheap. When we're talking about steel framing and helical screw piles adding a couple $1,000s to your project, G-tape's going to add a couple $100. Like it's a very inexpensive way to protect your frame. So we're talking about how the wood frame is going to last 15 years. Well, throw some tape on it. at least, and that should help extend it. There's no science or like, there's no guarantee that's like, adding G-tape adds 12 years to like.
Right. Yeah. There's
That's
no warranty
probably
on
what it does. Like, it's going to push your deck from 15 to 25 years, maybe with wood even. So add G-tape. That one's a cheap and easy one. Even
Might
if you're
as well,
building a
yeah.
DIY deck, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's something that the DIY person can do.
Easily. Yes, very easily.
You know how to tape up things.
Nothing changes with how you're going to build the deck. Anyway, you just, before you put your decking on, you get some G-tape or whatever tape of your choice.
Tape of your choice.
And tape the top of your joist. What it does is it creates a protective barrier so that the water isn't sitting and soaking into the tops of your joists, because that's where rot tends to occur, where these plastic deck boards, especially when it's composite, plastic deck boards sitting on top of wood, and it's like the plastic is really unaffected by the water.
Plastic don't care.
So the joist takes all the water, stays wet because it's capped with some plastic on top of it, so it doesn't dry out as fast, and that's going to encourage rot a lot faster than if it did have some airflow.
And you're never going to see it.
And you're never going to see it. The purpose of the G-tape is that the water doesn't soak into the wood in the first place. And then where you've got your fasteners poking in, creating holes in the treatment, well, the water doesn't get into there either because the tape self-seals around the fastener and keeps it out of there too. The side benefit is, you're not going to see it or the joist anymore.
Right.
Because by taping over the joist, you've now blacked out the color of the wood between the deck boards, so you don't even see that. So it gives you a nice clean look as a side benefit. Aesthetically, it looks nicer too.
Camouflage in your joist.
Steel framing is black already. It gives you the same effect.
Yeah.
This is the G-tape is now the poor man's steel framing.
The poor man's steel framing. G-tape and Q-deck.
Right? Number 4, add some dry storage to your deck. So what I mean by this is...
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, right? Caught you on this one, hey, Bryce?
I was like, what are you getting at here?
I'm saying you could easily add some sort of water system to your deck, whether it be Trex Rain Escape or TimberTech Dry Space or any of these rain systems that either go on the joist or under the joist that can keep the area beneath your deck dry. You're not going to see it. That's why it's on this list. It's a hidden place to spend your money that ain't fancy.
Okay, gotcha.
But if your deck is high enough off the ground that you have some usable space underneath it,
oh yeah,
whether it's for storage potentially, like that could become your shed. Save the 150 square feet in the corner of your yard by not getting a shed and put a dry space system or a rain escape system on your deck instead, and use the area underneath your deck.
And it just like fits.
Now you've got
there.
a 300 square foot shed instead of a smaller shed taking up area in the backyard.
And it looks way better.
And it keeps your yard cleaner. It looks better. So now you've created dry space. Now, if you're up on a walkout where you actually have like head height underneath
Usable
your deck,
space.
now we're really talking.
Yeah.
Because now you probably are going to have a patio underneath there. So now you've doubled up your square footage outside, and you can use that space when it's raining out or whatever. I've seen some people that will screen in underneath their deck and create a screen room under the deck.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's super cool.
So double up your space. It's like, this one is fancy.
This is the fancy
This is
one.
a pretty fancy one.
This is the fancy
I like
one.
this one a lot. So yeah, it's going to cost you a little bit extra. I don't know, like depends on if you're doing it yourself or not, but your costs on, I didn't talk about costs in the other one. Well, we kind of did. Dry storage, if you're going to talk about rain escape, you can probably expect, depending on the system, somewhere between $5 and $10 a square foot for the materials. And then if you're paying for somebody to install it, that'll be on top. But
So before we move on to the next and potentially last one, what about fasteners?
what a boot fasteners.
Well, so it's like, is there an argument to be made for like using hidden fasteners over other fasteners?
Yes.
Because it ain't. It is fancy though. I guess hidden fasteners are the fancy thing nowadays.
Sure.
Are they that much more expensive?
No, not really.
So most people go with them anyway.
Well, most people here go with them anyway. A lot of places do still face screw their decks, and not up here.
Why?
Well, technically it's stronger. I think just because it's more accepted. Like they're not, if that region has always kind of screwed down the decks and people are used to seeing like nice lined up screws, and that's they don't care.
Right.
That's what they expect to see. Here, I don't know why this is regional, but here it seems to be like you would never screw down a whole deck here. Wood deck you would.
Yeah, wood deck you would.
But a composite deck, people here think composite means hidden fasteners.
Right.
And therefore, if you were to build a composite deck and face screw it with colored screws everywhere, people would be like, that's not what I was paying for.
Right, exactly.
I'm sure it happens here and there, but it's not very common. You do composite, you also do a hidden clip. So, they might be a couple dollars more to do a hidden clip, but not much.
Okay.
But sure, that can be $4.50.
It's $4.50.
Yeah.
Small.
Number 5. You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
We have a comment
Ready.
here that I should
read
mention here. Haney Construction, but Shane, I can't see my pacemaker. So how does that help me any more than the joist tape or flashing that I can't see?
Oh, keeps your heart going. You should keep that one working.
So what he's saying is spend money on a pacemaker instead of a faux tan. You don't want like tanning bed, you know,
Oh yeah.
or a spray tan. What's your favorite spray tan?
I don't have. Do you have a favorite spray? I didn't even know that you could have a favorite spray tan.
Well, so this funny thing. Am I going to announce this on the podcast?
Are you going to? Oh, yeah.
Are we going to go here before we go to number 5?
I think so. I think let's keep everyone in abatement.
It's relevant, so we'll say it now. I'm dancing
with
a girl.
Congratulations.
Thank
Shane.
you. First time, 40 years, finally get to dance with the girl.
Was it a Sadie Hawkins dance? Did she ask you?
What does that mean? I don't know what that.
You've never heard of a Sadie Hawkins dance?
No, I don't get the reference.
Oh, it's just like that. Those are like old, I would say like 80s, 70s and 80s dances.
Oh.
Where the girls would ask the guys.
Oh, I see.
Instead of the other way around.
I don't know that. I think this is a neutral third party kind of asked us.
The event organizer.
Thanks for playing into it, Shane. You just butchered the shit out of that. No, I got asked, it was a couple months ago now, to be one of the dancers, or like not one of the dancers, to be the celebrity star
Contestants.
half of the dancing team for an annual event that happens in Regina and Saskatoon and Prince Albert, where they raise money for a, how deep do I get into explaining this? For a medically integrated daycare, essentially. So for children who have special needs and stuff, the daycare that's like the only daycare that has medically integrated programming for kids who need 24-hour medical supervision.
Right.
They have a fundraiser they do every year, and it's based off the Dancing with the Stars TV show, which I can't say I've ever watched a full episode, but I'm sure most people are familiar with the concept.
Right,
they have a celebrity that comes in who doesn't dance. They have a professional dancer who gets teamed up with the celebrity who teaches them to dance. They come up with their routine, they compete, blah, 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 blah. That's what this is essentially.
So they reached out to the Ultimate Tech podcast.
We use the term celebrity extremely lightly here, but I was nominated as one of the star dancers, I guess because of the podcast and other things we do. I'm mildly recognizable in the city of Regina.
People will see his face and be like, when he's standing next to the truck, are you that guy that owns the Ultimate Tech
Are you that guy? So I got recognized yesterday Monday playing mini golf.
Because you were next to the truck?
I wasn't next to the truck, but they for sure saw my truck first. And given that there's only 12 people out there, it was a pretty good guess. Probably the tall, lanky dude is likely the deck shop guy. The guy with the deck shop hat.
Yes, the guy only wearing deck shop
Likely
gear.
the guy, that's likely his truck. Anyway, got asked to do this, said yes. I have zero dancing background whatsoever.
But
Aside from like, I used to dance my life on my coffee table in university. I was the coffee
On the
table.
coffee
Yeah,
table?
buddy. That was my dance floor. We had a big wood coffee table. It was like 4x4. Good little dance floor. Mine.
lampshade,
Oh, yeah.
shirts off. You were
Yeah.
just partying.
Killing it back then.
Were you?
But since then, I've not danced.
Oh, okay.
So I am doing this. We've been practicing for a bit. We have a theme. It's happening on October 2nd. I'm going to be looking for donations pretty soon because part of this whole thing is to raise money for Hope's Home. So if you care about children at all, you should donate to me. And if you don't, you're like, get out of my life.
If you don't donate.
The donation links will be up soon. So follow me on Facebook. My name's Shane Chapman. If you don't know me already after 200 episodes, follow me there. And as soon as that link is ready, I'm going to post it. And I expect all my friends and my enemies to contribute to my cause. It's not for me, okay? I'm not getting the money. It's for the kids.
I feel like your enemies want to see you fail at dancing, so they'll donate.
Right? Like this will be entertaining for both sides, friends and foes.
Yeah. They're coming just to watch you fall.
So the reason why this segued into that was because the spray tan thing, we got offered makeup.
What?
They have makeup and hair and tanning available for any of the dancers / celebrities to get before the show. So
You
they're
should get a spray tan.
right?
You should be like, what's the maximum amount of spray tan?
Yeah,
that
like
you can
how
give
dark,
someone?
how dark can we go here in one shot?
You better be careful there, though.
I agree, but I want to go like holidaying in Mexico every winter dark.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
give me that.
Like leather skin.
Yeah. Like your great aunt.
Old guy.
That skin.
Yeah.
Give me that in one shot. So I was like, well, I don't think I'm going to do hair. I'll be wearing a hat for once. I don't need hair. I don't like the audience is going to be, there's freaking 1,200 people coming to this thing, but I don't think they'll be close enough to my face that I need makeup. But a spray tan.
Hey, man.
I could do a spray tan.
Makeup.
Especially when it's free, man. Take advantage.
Yeah,
like,
take
just
the
like,
free
give me a
spray
couple
tan.
coats.
A couple. I was like,
me a-
for a second there, I was like, a couple coats? You want like jackets?
No. A couple layers of tan. So anyways, number 5. Now that we got that
Get
out
a
of the
good
way.
spray tan.
So follow me, and I'd appreciate your donation when it goes live. Thank you, everybody. Now on to the rest of the show. Number 5, hire a good contractor.
yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of ways to get your deck built. You could tackle it yourself, and that's fine. If you know what you're doing, and you're confident with tools, and you have some experience, and you want to build it yourself, go for it. You could hire a contractor that has a good price and is available. Sure.
Mike on a bike.
You're Mike on a bike.
Stand in a van.
Stand in a van. What else you got? Chuck in a truck.
Chuck in a truck.
So you could hire those guys too to get your deck built. Sure. Or you could hire, like Haney Construction referred to previously, the pros. Because there is a difference between a specialized deck builder and a general handyman
Yes.
when it comes to the build quality of a deck.
right.
A deck is one of those things that people think is like, that's a weekend project. Me and a buddy and a case of beer, we're going to build my deck. And that's like a lot of decks are built that way. And a lot of decks are built unsafely that way. There's more to it than what people see, especially when it comes to the structural connections to the house, and the whole foundation piece we talked about before is very important. And it's the one piece that when a DIY tackles it often is not understood properly and is not done properly. It's worth the money to hire a professional deck builder.
Right.
They will have invested their money, time, knowledge into being better at their craft. They have taken potentially appropriate education, or at least experience.
Experience. Yeah.
They've invested in their appropriate tools.
Track saws.
Yeah, like there's some specialty tools that only a deck builder are going to have that's going to result in a better fit and finish for your deck than the guy who shows up with a skill saw and a brad nailer.
Yeah, he could do it.
They're going to care more because this is what they do. They're going to leave your deck and they're going to go to the next deck, and they build their entire business on the quality of their decks.
Right.
They don't get to go like flip a bathroom, do a good job, and then get the referral and then just like pick up work. No, they have to do good job at decks. That's all they do.
That's all they do.
Not only that, but that's because it's all they do. They're very efficient and have great craftsmanship in that trade specifically. Because you can have a really good handyman who does a lot of things very well, but it's unlikely in most scenarios that a good handyman is going to outperform a professional deck builder when it comes to fit and finish and quality and efficiency.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not a knock on their abilities. It's just that when you do the same thing over and over and over again, you get faster, more efficient, and you find ways to do things that other guys who don't do it all the time would know how to do.
Right.
So you're just better at it.
You're much better at it.
So that's number 5. Like, spend the extra money on, this is supposed to be a 30 to 50 year project you're about to invest in.
Right. Think about it that way.
Hiring the guy who's the cheapest to put it up or the quickest to put it up, whatever, is not the best strategy if you're looking for a long-term deck here.
No, and it's just going to cause you more stress hiring the cheaper guy.
Right. I mean, we've certainly got a number of stories where somebody has gone not this route. The cheap route ends up redoing things. And like I've said before a million times, nothing's more expensive than cheaping out.
Nothing.
Quote, Shane Chapman, 2019.
19? Is that right?
20, maybe.
20.
So good money spent. Are you going to see the money at the end? To somebody walking by in the park and glancing at your backyard? Probably not. But if you're the type of person who wants and appreciates a good fit and finish, and you want to go out in your deck and see that it's professionally done, yeah, this is worth spending the money. I can walk onto a deck and know immediately who built that deck. Like, I will pick up on things right away that the average homeowner wouldn't see, right?
Yeah.
I can walk on and be like, that guy, like, maybe you're okay with the fact that that board's cut an eighth of an inch shorter than the one beside it, and this is clearly not done with any sort of straight guide or track saw or whatever, but I see these things. And so if you would appreciate that fit and finish, and you want to make sure that your deck is attached to your house properly and is framed properly and has used the appropriate joist hangers and fasteners and everything else, spend the extra money to hire a professional deck building company.
Yeah, just do it. I also think that the stress of the whole process will be much lower generally with a good contractor, because they're going to see things that your normal general handyman might not catch right off the bat. Like they're going to be able to predict the process much better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they'll be able to minimize the number of surprises that happen along the way, the number of mistakes. If they run into a problem, they'll know how to solve it right away without kind of full stop on the project and be like, oh shoot, I didn't. What do I do when there's like nothing here to attach to? Like they know they've been problem solving these exact things for a lot more than handyman will have done.
Yeah,
and so like I said, there's like sometimes there's nothing wrong with hiring a handyman. Just have your expectations about what you're going to get in the end.
Exactly.
Right. It's no different than taking your your car to service at a certified mechanic somewhere that's, all they do is work on Fords, because every mechanic, all they ever do is work on Fords. But
I think they'd fix them by now.
But you know what I mean? If there's a specialized mechanic that specifically only works on Audis.
Yes.
And they know the car inside and out. Or you can take this to a buddy who has a garage who on the evenings and weekends dabbles in doing some mechanics because he grew up on a farm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, you might get your car fixed the same, maybe.
Yeah.
Pretty good chance the guys at the audio dealership are going to be much more efficient, quicker, and more professional, and like do a better job at the end than the guy who's never really worked on an Audi before, but is familiar with the general principles of mechanics.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I see it very similar to like if you go to a restaurant that says pizza on it and you order a hamburger, what are you doing? Right? Like they do pizza. That's what they do.
Exactly.
You don't go to a Chinese food restaurant and get a hamburger.
This is something that I think this is one of Wade's things he lives by.
He gets the hamburger.
No,
at the Chinese food
he's
place?
like, you don't, no, he's not that guy. He often says like, you don't order, like you order what the restaurant's good at.
Yeah, you order what the restaurant.
You don't go to a seafood place and order steak. That's what he's saying. He's like, no, they're known for their seafood.
Yeah.
And he's also like, don't order fish at a steak plate. Like,
don't go.
Sure, some high-end restaurants might be okay.
Don't go to Arby's ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Haney Construction says he's active today.
Yeah,
I will happily wager the entire cost of HC labor against a handyman. Handy Construction labor against a handyman building anything we do. Game on, all handymen.
Handy.
So if there's any handymen out there that think they can outperform Haney building a deck,
I don't know
wager's
if they can handle them anyway.
The offer is there. Less fights with your significant others, says Carly Matheson, with hiring a pro. I assume he means.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that they say that most marriage counselors start over renovations.
Is this true?
That's where most of something like 70 or 80% of like marriage counseling starts because of some sort of home improvement.
Can you imagine the amount of conflict there would be between you and your significant other if you were like, okay, we're finally going to build our deck. Okay. And the wife's like, I really want to hire Haney Construction because we've been saving for this for 7 years. I want to make sure it's done right.
Right.
This is our retirement home. This is going to be a beautiful space in our backyard. I want to make sure it's done properly and correctly and safely. I've got family. We got a big family. Mm-hmm. We are going to hire them to do it. And the husband's like, no, we're not. Why would we we can save tens of thousands of dollars. I'll just do it. It'll take me no longer. I can do it. My brother, Rob, he'll be over to help me. This is going to be great if he actually has a brother, Rob, if Haney does. Like my brother will come over. He'll help me, whatever. And then you go down that path and the husband builds the deck and the husband takes 9 months to do it.
See, there's the other thing, the time.
Right. And then of course it's not going to be anywhere near the quality.
No.
There's going to be corners cut everywhere. It's never going to get finished because he's going to get to a point of it being usable and then quit and put it on pause forever. And then find out that, oh shoot, husband didn't apply for a permit. Deck was built over top of an easement. City inspector comes by, says, no permit, stop work order. You got to tear this deck out. You're 3 feet into your easement. Got to tear the deck out. Can you imagine?
That would be
how much conflict there would be between that couple if that's how that played out. And I don't think that scenario is too far-fetched.
No,
I'll bet you that's played out that way a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, you would never live that down.
I mean, what
You went and spent $40,000 in materials. Your husband
Right.
buggers it up because he thinks he's going to save you a couple, like $25,000, and
there's no argument.
butchers
you can
it.
Win after
Has to
that.
rip the whole thing down, and then you got to sheepishly make the phone call back to Haney Construction to say, like,
Hey man,
remember that job?
remember how I said I was gonna do it because you were too expensive?
No, you got to do it. So your deck that was going to cost 65, then cost 40, then ripped it out, then cost 65 again.
Oh, that's like
$105.
$100,000 and a marriage.
So, like, it's rough, man. It's rough. What else we got here? I like this analogy here from Haney Construction too. A horse can kick my teeth out, so why would I hire a dentist just because he knows what he's doing?
Yeah,
Obviously.
I mean,
Precision Construction. Real builders do research and educate themselves on code, better practices, and products, all things that benefit the client.
whoa,
That's right.
Was that Glenn Matheson?
Might have been a little bit of a shout out to
okay.
Glenn there. But think about how much more knowledgeable a pro deck builder is about the products, the process, the codes, everything than a guy who doesn't live in it is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like these guys, like they live and breathe it all day long, and then they go to these trade shows, and then they subscribe to a magazine, and then they spend their evenings with talking to buddies about it, and then they do the research. Like it's their life.
They live it.
You cannot be like, this is the equivalent of, God, we're heavy on analogies today.
Yeah. The ultimate analogy podcast.
Imagine this. You've fallen into some sort of game show. Okay? This is going to be a really good analogy.
I'm waiting.
And the game show is you've got to make 15 three-pointers basketball in a row. You have to make 15 three-pointers in a row.
Whoa.
Okay? And if you do, you win $1 million prize, no questions asked.
Okay.
You're allowed to select whoever you like.
Oh, so someone can play for me.
Someone can play for you. You have to pick one person, and it
Right.
can be anybody.
Do I get less money if I pick
Now,
someone
if you do it yourself,
else? Okay.
there's no cost.
Right.
But you're also not winning the $1 million. Like you're absolutely
well, I might.
not. Then you have a buddy who played some hoops in high school, right? He was a good athlete.
Right.
Played in the ball team, played hoops. He was pretty good back
Pretty
then.
good. Okay.
Has a little bit of experience shooting hoops.
Yep.
He's going to either help you out for nothing or he's going to charge you $500 to go shoot these hoops.
Okay. Yeah.
At least cover my travel.
I'm feeling that.
And once again, you're like, well, I can save $500 and get the $1 million. Or you can hire Steph Curry. And Steph Curry's like, I'm going to charge you $20,000 to come out
what?
and do this for you.
Okay. 20,000. That's a lot of money, Steph.
It is a lot of money. But the odds of Steph Curry hitting 15 in a row are decent.
Or 3 in a row? You said 3, right?
15 three-pointers in a row.
15 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Steph
Okay, I
Curry
gotcha.
can do that.
Yeah, he could
He
do
is
that.
capable of doing that because he lives and breathes basketball and he's a pro at it and he's the best at what he does.
Mm-hmm.
If you are going to shoot threes, who else are you going to take out there right now? You're going to take Steph Curry
100%.
because your shot at $1 million is decent with him.
For 20 and for 20 grand.
With your buddy, you saved a bit of money, but the end result is you're out $500.
Yeah, you're not winning.
Zero chance you're winning.
0.
Zero.
This is a good way to look at it.
Chet
Chet's great.
Chet nailed 4 3-pointers one time in grade 9. It's now been 20 years. He's not hitting 15 in a row. You're not hitting 15 in a row.
No.
You've never even played basketball before.
Ever. No.
You
I
understand the mechanics of basketball. You've watched it on TV before.
wouldn't. Looks easy enough.
It's just a basketball. It just has to go on the
Just a
hoop.
ball.
Easy enough.
Hoop. Yep. Physics, right?
God damn, that was a good analogy.
That was a good one.
Right?
I like that.
So don't just hire anybody to build your deck. Hire Steph Curry.
No, don't hire Steph. What you taught me was not to hire Steph Curry.
Right. Okay, so I failed on the execution of the analogy. Deck Protect says, huge disagreements with my wife. I love her, but that reno was crazy. And he's in the biz.
Yeah, he builds stuff.
Yeah. What else we got here before we wrap up? Haney Construction. Larry Bird did that in a warm-up shirt. I pick Larry Legend. That's a good point. So
Would you
check.
still pick Larry
Would
Bird?
you? Yeah, today. Do you pick Larry Bird today over Steph Curry?
Oh.
He'll still take a 6-year-old Larry Bird.
Oh, look at that.
F Chet. So there you go. That's my that's my pitch. Hire. Do a deck yourself if you want. We've witnessed this. A DIY can sometimes do an okay job. I've never seen it be great.
No.
So if your expectations are high, hire somebody who knows what they're doing. Hire the pro. Do you have anything to add to that, Bryce?
Yeah. It'd be better to finance and hire a pro and make payments than to do it yourself and then have something fail on
Bugger it
it.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's like just save up a little bit more money.
Yeah.
Because it's worth it.
It is. And then you like these pros are going to give you a warranty as well. So in the event something does maybe go wrong inadvertently for some reason, whatever, you've got somebody to call. You're not just relying on your own, like good luck getting a hold of Chet.
Yeah.
Who helped you 4 years ago with your deck. Like that's not happening.
No.
Haney wants us to make DIY equals POS t-shirts.
POS? I don't know if I'd go
I
there.
want to go there.
DIY is fine.
Maybe we'll do maybe we'll do behind the phone booth t-shirts.
Behind the phone booth.
Secret door. And in the back room is a place where Haney can shop. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Watch for my donation link for Swinging with the Stars.
See you next
Appreciate
week.
it. Take it easy.
Hey, thank you for listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Now you know what we're about. Check the site, come and shop. UltimateDeckShop.com. Hit us right away for sponsorships. So tell us if you want to collaborate. Let's go. Check us out on any social networks. Thank you for listening.